I was involved briefly with a married man who believed he had the courage to leave his wife to be with me and to live his truth. This isn't the typical story of a married man promising to leave his wife for a secret lover. Rather, this is a story in part about a gay man who knew he was gay before he got married, but chose to marry a woman because he didn't know how to break free. Rocky and I met on a gay social media site 3 months after I returned to the East Coast to live, and just 11 months after he was married. At the time we met, he was living and working in Dubai as a contractor for the government on a military base, while his wife was stationed in Tallahassee, Florida, where they had a home. In one of the first messages he sent me, Rocky shared that he was married, but that he had regrets. He explained that he had come out to his mother and siblings when he was 18 years old. He sat there. To listen to more of One Thing for Certain, Two Things for Sure, a memoir continued, visit audible.com. One of the best parts of life is when you can admit the truth to yourself about yourself. Cyberspace is a world where one can become something he isn't, but everything he dares to be. I wasn't interested in getting attached to anyone, and I knew I wouldn't take anyone I met online seriously. I had multiple screen names to increase my chances of meeting someone attractive. The majority of the profiles noted HIV negative under status, but I knew better from the work I had done in the HIV community. I knew 1 out of 3 black gay men was positive. The messages I found in my inbox validated me in my depression. In some strange way, they reinforced that I was worthy and deserving. My days consisted of waking up and logging on to see how many messages had accrued overnight. Months passed before I got honest with my therapist about what was happening with me. And before I knew it, I heard myself say, I've been having sex with people I meet online. To listen to more of Words Never Spoken in Memoir, visit audible.com. Good day, thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. I'm Craig the Writer Stewart, and this is So Much to Say YouTube TV. These are my thoughts in my voice on black shit, white shit, gay shit, and everything in between. So Much to Say YouTube TV is the place that you come to learn and grow, because we discuss socially relevant things mixed with a splash of humor. If you know you have tissue paper feelings, this probably isn't the channel for you. But and however, since you're here, I just need for you to do 2 things. Hit the like button, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and turn on that little bell so that you get the notification every single time that I go live or upload something new. I'll see you soon. Bye. Niece. I'm dropping this StreamYard link down here because I saw Tanny Joy's message, niece. I just dropped it down here in the comments. Let me tell y'all something. First and foremost, before I get started, I want to say thank you to Bennett Weaver, who purchased me this Apple TV on my Amazon gift registry. But not for the fact that Bennett purchased me this Apple TV, I would not be up to date on Married at First Sight. So I want to say thank you once again. That's why I have not been up to date on, my conversation. Pardon me, them 3 tacos. That's why I haven't really been up to date with my conversation about Married at First Sight. Good day, thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. I'm Craig the Writer Stewart, and this is the Facebook and YouTube live versions of So Much to Say. These are my thoughts in my voice on black shit, white shit, gay shit, and everything in between. Niece. When I say I have been binge watching Married at First Sight for the past 2-3 days, I have not seen an episode of Married at First Sight since the beginning of September. But baby, when I say I have a word for you all, I have a word. I have a word. I have a word. I have a word. Okay, so first let me just say this. I knew Michaela was crazy when I first started watching. When I first watched this season, I knew that Michaela was crazy. What did he say her name was? Michaela Yvette something. What's her last name? When he said her full name, I was like, wait a minute now. Let me take a quick little detour. I'm gonna take a quick little detour, and I'm gonna come on back to Michaela with her Glenn Close
Fatal Attraction as, I think Zach may be part of the community. Is it just me? Is it just me? I think Zach may be part of the community. And I'm not one of the gays that tries to recruit. I'm not one of the gays that tries to recruit the straights, the heterosexuals, but I think he might be part of the community, the LGBTQIA plus LMNOPQZ123. I think he may be. I'd already told you I think Jose was part of the community. You know, the Hispanic guy that's on there. Now, I would like to talk about him as well, but I think this is a moment that I have to focus only on Michaela and Zach. Okay, I have to come back to Jose and boring Rachel later. First of all, I had already said I thought that what's his name? Jose. I just said the other day that I thought Jose, well, when I first started watching it, which was back in September, I kind of felt like Jose was part of the community. I mean, I also don't like that toupee styled hair that he got. Like, what is this hair he got? And then I don't like Johnny. Johnny is a big old bitch. Johnny gets on my nerves. And I have some things I want to talk about Johnny as well. I may save him and Jose for the end of this conversation. I have got to stay focused on Michaela because everything that I want to say, I have so much that I want to say about her that I think it's going to take up everything. It's going to take up our time today. Amen. Michaela is an example. She's an example of what it looks like, what it feels like to see someone who is not ready. Not only is she not ready for a marriage, but she's not ready for a relationship. Sister Kate, Michaela, that's what they say here in Georgia. You know, back in Maryland, we say Mary. We call everybody Mary. That's just a generic name for anybody. Down here in Georgia, they say Sister Kate. Sister Kate, a.k.a. Hurricane K and Hurricane Michaela and Glenn Close / Fatal Attraction Michaela, she need to go lay on somebody's couch because, see, she needs some therapy. She need to go lay on somebody's couch. She needs some therapy, niece. She ain't ready for a relationship. I said this, I believe, in Book of Jewels. I said it in one of them books. Now, if you don't have my books, niece, go on, sojourn over to CraigTheWriterStewart.com and go ahead and purchase 1, 2, 3, and 4. But I say in one of those books, a relationship, I'm interested in being your partner. I don't want to be your therapist. And I've been the therapist in previous relationships. I was that person that tried to heal you. It's not, I understand now that it is not my job to heal you. I'm only interested in being your partner. I'm there to reflect the things that you need to work on in terms of your growth. But I want to be in a relationship with you because we have shared life values, shared life goals. Our relationship views and values are aligned. They don't have to be exact, but they're aligned. They're parallel. I don't want to be your therapist. You need to come to me as healed as possible. You need to come to me as whole as possible. You understand what I'm saying? We all have trauma from childhood, from previous relationships, from life. But when I meet you and I'm partnering with you, it is my hope, it is my belief, it is my desire that you have worked on yourself as much as you possibly can. And that includes taking your ass to somebody's couch and laying down to get your... I need you to be as whole as possible when you show up. Because, see, the things that I can help you with are outside of the scope of your wholeness, your inner being. I can help you with restoring your credit. I can be patient with things like that because, see, we're not going to commingle funds until you get your credit together. Amen. We're not going to. So those are things that I can work with. And this is why I say to you guys all the time, damn a type. Throw your type out the window. I realized in my 20s, and I am now 45. I'm 45 now, and I understood in my 20s that my type did not work, that my type would not give me the kind of relationship that I craved, the kind of relationship that I desired, because my type was a physical type. Oh, he had to be darker than me because I like them dark. When I ate meat, niece, I like my meat white, but I like my men dark. Amen. But I understood, who gives a damn about that? I don't care what your complexion. I was not the kind of person that was into the light and dark thing. Like, I didn't have a color complex. You know, usually when people have a color complex, black people, they want somebody that's lighter skinned. Now, that wasn't me, niece. I like them dark. I like full lips, because you see these lips I got? I like to kiss, niece. And I need to be able to wrap my lips around yours. I don't need no paper thin lips. You know, and I like the nice thigh and the nice booty. And I like the nice physique, because either you worked out or because you have a natural build or whatever. I like nice, clean, clear skin. Like, that was my type. But I understood by the time, listen, before I hit 30, I understood, Craig, your type didn't work. Your type ain't gonna work. That's not gonna yield the kind of relationship that you're looking for. It's not gonna pour into you. It's not gonna give you what you're craving, what you're desiring. It's not gonna give you that long-term relationship. So this is why I say to you guys all the time, throw away a type. Forget your type. She ain't got to have a certain breast cup size, because I know some straight men watching. Hey, boy, hey. And for the gay men, listen, stop worrying about all of the superficial stuff. For my straight women that are watching, stop worrying about how tall he is, how he got to be a certain height. And then some of you are really superficial. Oh, I can't date somebody who got ugly feet. Take his ass to the podiatrist and then take him over to the nail place and get his feet worked on. I say to you guys in Book of Jewels, that's my 4th book, I say in there, a type will keep you single. There's a distinction between having a type and having standards. It's okay to have standards, niece. It's a difference to have a type. Having standards is when you require a person to climb up and reach up to your level in terms of how he treats you or how she treats you. That's having those are your standards, right? Derek says, how can you spot trauma before you go too deep in? Niece, listen, or nephew, sorry. Niece, nephew, whatever. You can spot trauma, especially if you've experienced it before. Remember how I say to you guys all of the time, you have to pay closer attention to your life, right? And once you start paying closer attention to your life, you start to understand the mechanics of how the world works. And so when somebody shows up in your life and you go through different things and different experiences with them, you'll have these, and it's important to be able to distinguish between your previous trauma and your triggers from your instincts. Because sometimes those previous traumas, your triggers, will just be your fear. Those are your fears making you want to run. But your instincts are those little whispers, those little subtle whispers that are telling you, this ain't it. This ain't gonna work. This is unhealthy. There's a distinction between your instincts and your insecurities, your traumas, your triggers, right? You got to get still long enough to understand that. Because if you pay closer attention to your life, you'll start to see these things. You can pay closer attention to these things. Now, going back to Michaela and old boy, I think he's part of the community, and I think what he really needs is a man. Like Stephanie Mills said, he needs the comfort. He needs the comfort. I need. He needs the comfort of a man, niece. I think he's part of the community. I really do. I really think he's part of the community. And listen, I'm not saying, let me go back to my girl. Well, he might be bi, but I just said he's part of the community. Amen. That could be LGBTQ, what something. Craig, I still like a brown skin type of guy. I'm not saying that you can't like a brown skin type of guy, but what I'm saying is it's a problem when that is at your priority. That's your priority. I had to recategorize and reconfigure my priorities, right? And that's the work that you do when you're single. That is the work that you do when you're single. It's okay if you like a brown skin kind of guy, but it shouldn't be a deal breaker if he's not a brown skin kind of guy, is what I'm saying. If a darker skin guy comes or a fair skin guy comes and he's the one that's going to adore you and he comes with all of that stuff that you want and that you need, then are you going to not be with him because he's not a brown skin kind of guy or because he got ugly feet? You understand? I think sometimes we rule people out. But going back to Michaela, first of all, she's kind of like a Dr. Jekyll and Mrs. Hyde. I was looking at that and I was like, she's really kind of off. And I understand for those of you who are extra compassionate and sometimes you overlook things and you're the kind of person that you stay in relationships longer than you should. I think that Zach knew earlier that he had to get out of here. But see, I think he was trying to trust the process and stay in the process because you got the Dr. Pepper and you got the sex therapist and you got Pastor Cal and they all trying to, be in your corner. But Michaela needs therapy. She needs deep therapy. And she needs to be single for some time until she can work through those things. I understand that she has the trauma from her father's death, but that's the work that she needs to do while she's single. When she had these outbursts, all this acting out, and I just like the episode that I just finished watching was when Dr. Pepper was there to mediate. And she said she would interpret for Michaela. And then when she sat there and said, he left, he abandoned me. Girl, are you serious? Girl, like you really said, get in your car and go. Like she literally was like, you leave now, go home now. Like when she did that whole thing, I was like, oh, this girl is bonkers. This girl is bonkers. And then when she went through that house like a Tasmanian devil, and she said, and she had the nerve to say, she had a panic attack. No, you didn't have a panic attack. Girl, you spazzed out. You had a tantrum. That wasn't no panic attack. You went to that house destroying those people's property. And all I kept thinking was, production gonna give her a bill. production gonna bill her. She's a maniac. And here's the thing. I can't say this enough. And I've never been like that. But what I will tell you is I've been experienced like that. And anybody that's had a relationship or that's dated and, we've all been green at some point. But she doesn't know how to handle conflict. She doesn't know how to handle rejection. She doesn't know how to handle truth. I'm going to tell you who my favorite on here too is. I really like Brett. That's the white girl with the red hair. I really like her because she's very clear. She's very, and I'm not going to go into this because we'll talk about her later because I really want to focus on Michaela. But Brett, when I say she called that boy, what's that white guy's name she's with? Brett and what's his name? Whatever, Ryan. When she said to him, when they were sitting out on the porch, they were at this little retreat, and she said to Ryan, she said, you said to me the other day to call you out, to call you on your shit. And she said, and then when I do, this is how you act. You don't know how to respond. You can't accept that. And I said, pull his ass together. I really like her. She's so cute to me. And like she's stylish. She put her little glasses on. She doesn't feel like she doesn't feel like she tries too hard. She's just who she is. And I just feel like it's just one of those. Here's what I think, especially in their case. And I know I'm not going to stay on them long because I'm going to go back to Michaela. Here's what I feel about Brett and Ryan. The experts keep saying to him, well, I think you need to try something different. And I believe that is true to a degree, because going back to what I was just saying about having a specific type, I think sometimes you guys, not me, because I don't do this no more. I think sometimes when you have it locked in your mind that you need a certain type, that this guy has to look a certain way or this woman has to look a certain way, you exclude and you alienate yourself. You cut out a whole pool of people that could be perfect for you. But because you are caught up in some physical thing and what you've always had, and there's so many times that I'm like, damn, why can't I be on this show? Because I want to be able to say to them sometimes, baby, listen, if your type worked, you wouldn't be here. If you had all of the answers, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be talking about getting married at first sight. Now sit down and let us help you. But with that being said, sometimes my concern is when people aren't really connecting in the way that Brett and Ryan aren't connecting. I sometimes wonder if they stay together and then they are no longer on the TV show and that kind of thing, and you don't have that support system of the other couples, you don't have the therapist there, the experts there to help you. How do you maintain that relationship? How do you stay on track? So I sometimes wonder if, that's possible, because you're really trying to force yourself to be with somebody that you just aren't, because maybe you're just not ready to walk away from your type. I don't think that a type is what you need to be going for. I think you need to go after how you feel with the person. But so you do have to be attracted to the person. But when you're attracted to a specific, like if you can write down every single person that you've dated or that you've been attracted to, if they all look the same and have similar qualities, that's a problem. You need to do something different. You need to do something different. And so I think that's what the experts are trying to help them see and to do. But back to Michaela, I just think that she needs really intense therapy. And I think the people in her life, and this is why I've said this to you guys before as well, the people in your life, your friends, your family, need to hold you accountable for your behavior, your bad behavior. I think her sisters are partly responsible for allowing her to be this Tasmanian devil, even in their relationships and their sister relationships. She probably got away with this all of her life. I think she is the youngest. She's daddy's girl, little girl. Daddy died in a car accident. And now they're tiptoeing around her because they feel like she's fragile. They're enabling her. And I don't think that it's cute. It's not cute at all. And that bad behavior is spilling over into her relationships. And part of the reason, because I think she was the one, I know Val said she's ended every previous relationship that she's had, but I think Michaela also said something very similar about she leaves her relationships without, any explanation. But I think that's a defense mechanism. That's a defense mechanism. And that's like a way that she tries to self-protect. She tries to leave because she has fears of being abandoned. And so it's her way of, let me leave you before you can leave me. And even how her sister drove and picked her up in the wee hours of the morning from that retreat. No, what the sister should have told her was, girl, no, listen, you're going to stay there till tomorrow, and I'm going to come and get your ass tomorrow at noon, because I need to get me a good night's sleep. You understand what I'm saying? But when you participate in that kind of foolishness, and this goes to the mothers that are watching, when you have young boys or you have grown men as you know, and you're the only parent in the house. I'm talking to my single mothers right now. And you allow your boys to get away with shit and you don't check them when they do some old fuck shit. They carry that behavior into these relationships with women, and they damage so many women because you didn't check his ass. And the same thing with fathers. You allow, your daughter got you in the palm of their hand, and you don't know how to correct your daughter. Nobody corrected her. Nobody corrected her, and she needs to be corrected. She's not ready for a relationship. Do I think she can be prepared at some point? Absolutely. But she needs intense therapy. She needs a lot of self-reflection. And that's one of the things that I think they need to consider as one of the things that they use to vet these people that come on here. Because, Married at First Sight, they vet these people. Remember, this was the first season where we got to see them vetting them, like asking them questions and stuff. And you know why they did that? Because last season, that fuckboy Chris, the way he did that girl Paige, and he had his previous girlfriend impregnated and all this other stuff. So I know that this is why they showed us the process of them vetting them. But I think what they need to start incorporating is some sort of mental health. What type of mental work have you done on yourself? What type of mental work have you done on yourself? And I think they need to kind of weave that into the process, because Michaela clearly needs some type of because what she's trying to do, she's trying to replace her brokenness and her grief from losing her father with a relationship, with love from a relationship. She's trying to substitute, and you can't do that. It's just like if you lose a loved one, if you lose a mother, or if you lose a father, and then you get into a relationship right away. I always believe that you really need to take some time. If you experience a death in your family, it's just as traumatic as a breakup. Like if you just came out of a breakup, and you know how most people say you should take some time between relationships to kind of heal. I think the same is true if you experience a death in your family. Like if you just lost a grandmother, or your mother, or somebody, or your favorite aunt, or whatever, and it's had some sort of an impact on you, you need to take your time before getting into making a big decision like getting into another relationship, because sometimes we can miss clues. And it goes back to my friend's question who asked me earlier, how can you recognize this stuff? Sometimes you can miss those clues because you're grieving. And so your guard is down, and you're missing clues, right? You're missing different clues that you would have otherwise picked up. I hope you got that. I hope you got that. Because see, sometimes, and we don't always recognize this, but because you're grieving so desperately, you're trying to substitute and fill that void that you just experienced in that loss and that death. And so you're trying to get into this relationship because you're trying to, I talk about this in Book of Jewels, niece. You're trying to be impatient with the pain when you really need to be patient with the pain. You're trying to obfuscate the pain. You're trying to circumnavigate it. You're trying to go around it. You understand? It's just like a rebound. It's just like a rebound. Exactly. And so you're trying to stay busy and not deal with it. But you have to sit in that pain and be really clear about the relationship that you're getting into. But when I tell you there is no coming back for Zach, and the fact that this girl packed up all her shit, this is before they went to the retreat. Remember Michaela, she packed up all her shit and she moved out of the apartment. This is the second time she didn't pack her shit up. She got to be exhausted, all this goddamn packing. She got to be exhausted. Listen, I don't like all this moving and stuff. I don't like moving. I'm gonna eat a couple of my Swedish fish. She got to be exhausted, all this packing. You understand what I'm saying? And so, all right, she packed up the seasonings. And look, I'm gonna tell you something. When they were playing that game at the retreat, and remember, she said, "Yeah, I'm a petty bitch." She said, "I'm gonna take the agitator from the washing machine." Somebody joked that she would take the batteries out of the smoke detector. She said she would take the baseboards from the house. Like, let me explain something to you. Don't allow someone to make you someone that you're not. Don't allow somebody to make you somebody. I've said this before, and I haven't said it in a very long time. Men only recognize strength. The best thing that you can do, yes, grieving equals impulsive behavior. Come on now. The best thing that you can do is to walk away and be silent. Men only recognize strength. When you do all that dumb shit, you slashing his tires and you scratching his car and you taking the agitator and you out of the washing machine, you taking the seasonings from the house. He knows that you crave his attention. He knows that you're craving his attention. He knows that you're doing it for attention. But listen, what you do is, this is how you get a bitch. You pack your shit up and you be silent. They send you all up. When they start sending you a barrage of text, yeah, niece, that's me on my phone. When they start sending you a barrage of text messages, ignore that shit, niece. Don't say a motherfucking word. That's how you get a bitch. You leave everything intact at the house. You take all your shit. Because there's nothing like walking into a house that you've occupied with somebody, and then you remove all your shit, and then they come in there, and it feels empty. because you've removed all of your things. And again, niece, that's a power move. You only do shit like that when you mean it, when you know you're not coming back. Don't play these kind of games if you know that you're not ready to be done. When she told that man to get in his car and go home, now I don't know how far they were from Houston, where this retreat was. I don't know what the distance was. But she kept telling that man, go home. I was looking at it and knew that she didn't really mean it, because she knew she was going to have to sit there by herself. And you heard her say, you heard Bao say, the Asian girl, Bao said she couldn't sleep that night. So she had to get her sister to come. She tossed and turned in that motherfucking bed because, see, she told that man to leave. And I have to tell you, that Zach is a distinguished gentleman, because he said to her, listen, I don't want to leave you here. I can wait until tomorrow. But if you're telling me that you don't need me to wait for you, I'm going to leave tonight. And she kept saying, no, go on and leave. Go on and leave. She didn't mean it. People, stop saying the shit that you don't mean. Stop saying the things that you don't mean. If you know you want to salvage your relationship, stop saying and doing things that you may not be able to come back from. I call those power moves. You pack my shit up, I may not come the fuck back. So you better be motherfucking clear when you pack my shit up, because I just may not come back. You better be clear when you're taking doorknobs and shit off all of the doors and you leaving. Like that, that's some petty shit. But I could, before she spazzed out, if you watch that episode again, it foreshadowed. I knew it was coming, because when they were playing that game and she was like, I'm a petty bitch, he was looking at her. Did you notice that? He was looking at her. He was sitting there looking at her like, this bitch is bonkers. Look at Alicia. She said, baby, I packed a nigga's ish and sent it to Tennessee, in the biggest moving truck, and attached a trailer to transport his car, all on his credit card, while he was on a cruise. I had the flu, but I did it. Well, girl, let's hope that's all you wanted, niece. I trust that you were done with the relationship. You better know it. I told Carson, I said, you better not pack my shit no more. I said, you pack my shit, I might be done. I said, don't play with me like that. Don't motherfucking play with me like that. And see, you know, some of you be saying that you want the relationship to be over and you're done and you're finished. You have to think about the trauma. When you yo-yoing somebody like that, when you yanking somebody back and forth like that, when you do that, you push them further and further away. A piece of them dies. A piece of their feelings for you dies every time you do that. Every time you say, well, get your stuff and get out, or I don't want to be in this relationship. That was something I learned in my 20s as well. If you read my first book, Words Never Spoken, I talk about that in my relationship with, what was his name? Carrington, in the book. And when I tell you, I used to do that to him, but see, I was emotionally immature, like Michaela. Now, I wasn't crazy like Michaela, but I was emotionally immature. I didn't really know how to handle the feelings, the emotions that comes with being in love and, you know, becoming vulnerable and losing control of your feelings, right? And I remember every time, because I didn't know how to handle disagreements and, you know, things like that, I would say, well, you know what, maybe we just aren't supposed to be together. And I would just break it off. But eventually he grew calloused. His heart became calloused. He got to a point where he was just like, okay, I don't want to do this no more. He got to the point where he took me up on that shit because I had done it one too many times. And so I'm just saying this to you as a cautionary tale. If you're not ready for the relationship to be over, then you need to shut your goddamn mouth and get somewhere and sit down. Go take a drive or do whatever. But you need to go sit your ass down until you can chill out, until you can come down a little bit and think rationally and clearly. I don't think she's emotionally mature. And here's the other thing that I want to share. I want to leave with you guys. I want to say this to you guys as well. A disagreement, conflict, an argument, those are not signs or reasons to end a relationship. when you have those differences and those difficulties, and I don't mean like fundamental differences. I don't mean like, again, Book of Jewels, niece, go get you Book of Jewels. I'm coming. I'm about to let y'all come in here, over here and stream y'all. Hold on, niece. Let me make this point. I don't mean if you're fundamentally different. If you want your relationship to go this way and the other person wants the relationship to go that way. Let me give an example. If you know you want a monogamous relationship and your partner is trying to have an open relationship with threesomes and all of that other foolishness, you know fundamentally you want two different types of relationships, right? I don't mean if you're arguing about that. You don't need to argue about that. You need to get out if you know that's not the kind of relationship you want. But what I'm saying is, if you have growth differences, if you have differences in little small things, you know what I mean? Because you're just kind of getting settled into the relationship. Those are not signs that the relationship should be over. So stop reaching for that. Stop saying, oh, well, maybe we shouldn't be together. Maybe we should break up. Stop reaching for that all the time, because that's your defense mechanism. You're just scared. You're being emotionally weak. Stop saying that. And if you know you can't resolve, you don't have great conflict resolution skills, then maybe you need to be single for a while. So stop always thinking that because you're having difficulties or challenges, because relationships, after all, are the place that we go to learn and grow. And and that's what I want to say to that knucklehead ass Johnny. He pissing me off because, first of all, he's nasty to her. He's nasty to Bao. And it's just like, first of all, you ain't no motherfucking catch. You scrawny, bony, chicken chest, thinning hair. Look, I didn't got my edges back so I can talk about his head. You about to be bald in a few years. You act like you some fine catch. You ain't all of that. Stop acting like you're God's gift. You're just not anything. You're not anything that I expect. I could have just been paired with anybody else. It wouldn't have even mattered. Oh, okay, really? I don't like the way he treats her. But she really won me. Bao. She really won me over with his long neck ass. Bao really won me over in the other episode when she was talking to the girls and she said, I looked at my parents' relationship and I said I would never allow somebody to treat me like that. And I've become that person. And I'm never doing that. She said, because he's not even worth my time. I said, you better stand up for yourself, Bao. Now let me bring my people in here. Because I am God. Now I hope y'all didn't watch the episodes. Now I know Tanny Joey watched it. Now, do y'all watch Married at First Sight?
No, I don't. Can you hear me?
Well, why is she in here? She don't watch that. What? She don't watch them. Go
Listen,
ahead,
I was
Deeds.
waiting. I was waiting for you to preach on something, Craig, but you always do. Can you see me good? Can you hear me good?
I can.
Yeah, I just wanted to jump in here and have my turn on the word that you be spreading. But first and foremost, I want to tell you congratulations on your new home.
Oh, thank
And
you.
what I really want to say to you is it is so inspiring to watch you on your Patreon, to watch you just be in your purpose, to flow. It's so effortless. You don't try. And that, I feel your light, brother. I feel your
Oh,
light.
thank you so much.
I, I'm telling you, when I see you like today dancing and singing in the kitchen, I was like, he is really feeling himself. He can't sing worth a damn, but he think he can. And it's not
Listen, in a
about
previous
this.
life, I was a singer. In a previous
I
life, I
heard
was a
you say
singer.
that. I said, as soon as you said that, I said, "Po child, he sure thinks so, don't he? He sure think he was." No, but really, Craig, what is so inspiring is to watch someone evolve in their purpose. You know what I'm saying? You are really doing God's work. You don't know it, but you have been. Well, maybe you do know it. You know it by now. You know it. You have
But I know
really
what you
been.
mean. And can I just say this real quick? I understand what you're saying. I don't think I know it to the extent that you guys tell me. And I think that's a good thing. And I'm going to tell you why. And I think I've shared this before on a live. Many years ago, before I ever did a live or I knew any of you guys, I used to pray. I was living in my friend Angela's house. I used to pray, God, please do this for me. Make this happen, whatever it is, right? I said, but God, don't give it to me if I'm going to levitate. Keep me grounded. Keep me, in a sound mind. Like, and so my point is, I don't think I see what you guys see, and I think that's a good thing because I think that keeps you humble. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I think if I knew or could see it the way that you guys see it, I think that's when you get the big head, right? But Alicia
But
was
here,
just asking, are you still overseas? You're not overseas
no, I'm
anymore,
not.
right?
No, no, no. And see, that's another thing, Craig. I watch you closely. I study you. I study the way that you interact with your tribe, us, you know, because eventually I want to have a strong tribe like you. So you're inspiring in that way.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm in I'm in the desert. I'm in Las Vegas. Okay. So let me tell you how you are playing a big part in what I'm doing right now. I've read all your books.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I remember where you said you started from and, the steps that you took. Now, I'm somebody who's always seemingly, um, from other people's perception, have had it together. You know what I'm saying? I've always had my own shit. I always dressed nice. I always had my, nice car, all that. Well, now, not only am I in the desert geographically in Las Vegas, but I feel like I'm in the desert of my life as well. Nothing is growing. I'm confused. I'm disrupted. I am 51 years old. I am starting over, and it's uncomfortable. And I've never been in
Mm.
this place before.
But that's where
I've
the
never been
growth
in.
is. The growth is
I
in that
know,
discomfort.
I know. And, but can you imagine at 51 years old going, damn, girl? See, I knew I was going to encounter this when I came back to the United States because I wasn't here for this whole pandemic, this whole thing that's going on. I was in another country. We weren't
Right.
affected in that way where I
Right.
was, and every day was paradise. But I
Yeah.
had a calling to come back here because I have two grown kids here and five grandbabies. So I had a calling to come back here. I don't know why, but I've learned to follow my spirit. So to
Trust your
come
instincts.
back, yeah, to come back, and now my life, my whole life has been reduced to a 10 by 5 storage. And now I'm roommating with someone who's a good friend of mine, but still, it's like my mind is like, girl, you fucked up. Like, you doing it wrong. No, we talk ourselves out of the evolution because we
Mm-hmm.
get so attached to instead of who we're being called to be, we get so attached, so addicted to our mind is telling us we should be.
Exactly.
So anyway, watching you and hearing how you've evolved over your life is very inspiring because I hold on to that because I can see, I know what I want, I know where it's at, but I know it's going to take work to get there. And it's the work that I'm like, oh my God, I'm starting over. This is so fucked up,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I like
Well,
to
that
watch
was
you.
my experience when I moved to California, right? And so that's where and I know you said you have all of the books and you've read them, but that's where the second. So if you need to revisit that second book now that you're in Vegas, because that second book picks up with me living in LA, and I didn't know that I was going to write a book.
Right,
The story of what happened when I lived in LA starts with the second book, but I wrote the first book while I was living in LA, and so I didn't know that was what was going to happen. I was there. I knew I was there. Didn't understand why I was there. And I just trusted the process. I just kept saying to myself, my instincts guided me here. I don't know why I was moving to LA, but I did. And the result was those first two books for sure.
right, 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 right. Yeah,
But
so
yeah,
I just wanted to thank you, and I wanted to tell you that you're doing a great job. And don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining, I'm not sad, but I like to watch, like hearing your story, where you come from, and then see where
yeah,
you are now, and knowing that this is not the end for you. It's not the end for me. It's not the end for any of us. But
yeah,
just watching someone who has actually done it is very
yeah.
inspiring. So keep up the good work, and I appreciate you.
Well, you're welcome. And see, and this is why I share my story. And I tell it regularly because that was one of the things that I promised God too. I said, if you do it for me, I promise I'll tell the story. And I know that there are new people that are watching all the time. I know I got my regulars like you and Tanny Joy and Alicia and Donnell Holt and all of the people that whose names I know because I see them in here all of the time. Mariah. But I tell the story so many different times, and I reshare the lessons because I know there's always somebody new watching. Sometimes there are people that slip in, and I try to tell those stories again because you just never know where a person is in their life, right?
Right.
So yeah. But I appreciate
Yeah.
you saying all of that, and just hang in there, and just like when you feel uncertain, just keep asking God, what is it that you would have me do now? What is it that you would have me do
Exactly.
now? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm asking, what is my next best step? And don't get
What are
me
the
wrong, my
next
life
best
is not
steps?
bad. Yeah, my life is not bad. It's actually, a friend of mine, I was telling him, and he was like, listening to what you're talking about right now, seems like you got it good, you know? But I think I don't have the control that I once had. Like, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
But
Like,
but but see, that's the
it's
part of the
mine.
lesson too. That's a part of the lesson too. Is
Yep.
releasing the reins to life. I talk about that in Book of Jules. It's
Surrendering.
surrendering and
Yes.
knowing when to hold on to the reins of life and take control, and when to release it, and allowing life to just take control of you.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Right.
this is all a lesson. I know it is. And you have been placed into my life um, for a reason, you know?
Hmm.
So, yeah, it is what it is. But that's what I wanted to say. I don't be watching TV and all them shows y'all be talking about. It, it, it still sounds good. It's very
Right, right, right.
entertaining
Well,
to
I
come on
appreciate
and
you saying
see.
that. I really, truly do.
Have a good one, y'all.
All right. Bye.
All right.
Tanny Joy, before you say this, I want to say this because a few people responded. I saw y'all little shady comments to my girl talking about, we off topic. So what, the review is over? But some of you did respond to what she was saying. You guys were saying she hit the nail on the head. I felt like I'm going backwards. Courtney, that's what happens. That's a part of the process. You'll start to feel like you're going backwards. And I've said this so many times before. Book of Jules, but I say this in Book of Jules. There were times that I was working at jobs that I didn't understand how this was going to connect me to my dream. Like this seems so off course. Like, why am I here? But it's all designed to everything that happens to you, whether it's a move in with your family or with a best friend, or you're going to a job that you don't want. It is the universe positioning you and aligning you to move you to your dreams the quickest, most efficient way possible. You can't connect the dots, whatever that is. You can't manipulate success. You can't expedite it. You can't lay down the path. You just can't do it. So I did want to say that. But go ahead, Tanny Joe. What you want to say, niece?
Sorry, I was on mute.
She's so busy typing in the comments. Go ahead.
I'm multitasking. Hi, Craig.
Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey. Hey. So I already bought my plane ticket for DC. I'm already ready.
Ah,
So
oh,
let's go.
speaking of DC, yes, on
Let's go.
December 3rd, now the tickets are not on sale yet, but December 3rd, Derek J and I are doing our very first live Gay Like Me conversation. It's going to be in person. It's going to be in DC. The details are going to be coming soon. It's going to be Friday, December 3rd. Okay, so keep an eye out for that. But go ahead, Tanny Joy. She said she already got her plane ticket.
Listen, I don't be playing.
I see.
Oh. Anyway, so this like the last couple of episodes that you've caught up on, I've been screaming and hollering every episode. Um, like if I run into Johnny in these streets, I'm gonna get
Because
upset.
you're in Houston.
I'm in Dallas. I'm
Oh,
in
you're in
Dallas.
Dallas. That's right. I knew you were in Texas. Okay, you're
Right,
Dallas.
but
Okay.
yeah, so the way he's treating her is so disgusting. Like he needs some Al Green's hot grits situation while he's sleeping. It it's unbelievable. And then she sits there like blank face. Like I need her to be popping back at him. Like she'll ask questions or she'll say, like, well, why are you saying that? Or why are you do no, you need to be at his neck like he at yours. Like I'm not understanding.
But you know what I think is happening with her? Because I kind of felt like she was a bit docile a bit too docile myself.
She's checked out.
I think she was starting to check out, but I think also, if you remember, she said she ended every relationship that she had prior, and she really wanted to put herself in this process and try to self-examine. And I really think she's trying to figure out who she is. You understand what I'm saying? I think she's using this as an opportunity, yes, to find her husband. But if I don't find my husband through this process, I'm going to be a better me because of this. And when I leave here, I'm going to be able to take the lessons that I learned for my relationship that I will have. So I really kind of think that she, they are carrying on in these comments about the live in DC. They talk about the traffic in DC. She talk about the camera lights. Niche, you ain't supposed to be speeding. If you ain't speeding, you won't get no camera light ticket. But I really think she's trying to absorb what he's saying and trying to basically see if it's true. You understand what I'm saying? Now, I'm a person that believes that if you only hear something once about yourself, there's probably no merit to it. But if people who don't know each other are saying the same thing about you, there has to be some truth to it. And so at some point you have to kind of stop and say, okay, well, let me think, because this person said this person over here said this, they don't know each other, so they can't be conspiring. You understand what I'm saying? So I think that that's what she was doing, but I'm glad to see that she's starting to take her power back, which I was saying a moment ago, because she was like, I'm not putting up with this because he's not even worth my time.
Can we talk about a conversation he had with Sarah?
Sarah? Who is Sarah?
The conversation he had with her quote unquote best friend. You haven't gotten to that episode yet?
Wait a minute, is that the one when they go to their houses and stuff?
No, the last episode is when he tells her that he had a conversation with her best friend Sarah when they were talking to Dr. Pepper.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you what I watched. I watched up to the most recent episode because I had to get on here to talk. I had seen enough.
So you're missing an episode.
So the episode that I last saw was the one where Michaela was sitting on one end and Zach was on the other end and Dr. Pepper was mediating. Is it in that episode?
Yeah, it's on that episode.
Huh?
It's on that episode. Yeah.
Right. So once I saw them, I got off and I started talking to y'all. So I figured I would go back and watch the rest of it.
We won't really go into that, but he violated her. That's not her best friend. Like, it's just so ridiculous. Like, you have to finish watching it. It's some crazy shit. I was like, excuse me, like I'm looking at the TV like, what the hell? Do you watch the after show on?
I don't watch the after show.
So okay, so the after show, he's on there with Ryan and Merla, and you'll watch it, and you on the episode where he makes a comment about Val, like her demeanor and how she acts, and Merla pretty much agrees with him. So he's bad talking Val, and then Merla agrees because now the rumor is that Merla and Johnny are together.
Wait. The rumor is what?
That Merla and Johnny are together now, like present.
The Mexican girl and the Asian guy.
Yes.
They're together now?
Supposedly.
He don't even strike me as somebody that would. She doesn't strike me as being with him.
Well, he has money, remember?
Oh yeah, he does have money.
He has money. He drives a Tesla. Like that's her type of.
Because it's so funny because when that last episode I saw him and Bao getting out of that Tesla, I said, I know she peeped that Tesla and was like, oh damn.
Yeah. So, supposedly, Bao and Zach are supposedly together, but they've been in the Houston streets strong. People have been taking pictures, post them on.
Wait, who been in the streets strong?
Bao and Zach.
Zach. They not dating.
Yet to you want to bet?
Are you Okay, so wait a minute. Let me tell you this. Just like I said the other day on the live when I said in the gay community, there's a lot of conversation around Black men who date white women. Oftentimes we think that that's a sign that he may be bisexual or on the low. Mm-hmm. The same is true sometimes when a Black guy dates an Asian woman. And I told you, I think Zach is part of the community.
Yeah, he comes across. I can see that. I can definitely see it. He a mama's boy too, so I think he
I can tell he is. And listen, and no shade to the straight men that are watching. y'all aren't really that cultured. He plays the piano.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's real. He's a Renaissance man, and a lot of gay men are Renaissance men.
Oh yeah,
And
he has
listen,
some
no
tendencies.
shade, but if there was no Carlton, I probably would no. I'm just like,
Ooh, oh Lordy.
because he thick in the thigh and the booty like I like him.
Yeah. Overall, Michaela, I don't like how she lied in Dr. Pepper's face. I don't know if you
And it's
finished
like,
the
girl, you don't
story.
know this lady that's seen all of the footage.
Yeah, she's like, oh, he doesn't have any evidence of me responding negative.
And
I'm
she
like,
said, so, and
what?
what did Dr. Pepper say? She said, but
I don't remember.
she said something like, so how do you respond? Or like, what do you remember that what have you done that you could have taken back or you wish you had taken back?
I really
But it's
think
just like, girl, you do blow up. You are like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Like you're two different people.
But Craig, do you think, I made the comment about mental illness. I really think she blacks out. Like I think there is a deficiency of some sort. And I think she checks out for a second.
I think she blacks out.
Yeah, and then she comes back in, and then she kind of maybe don't remember to the extent of how she acted. But I mean, come on, you was pushing tables and knocking stuff over and slamming doors and kicking and screaming.
And that's what I'm saying. She called it a panic attack. Girl, no, that wasn't a
It's
panic
not
attack.
a panic attack.
That was a fit.
Yeah, two different things. Two different things. She needs medication to like even her out, to bring her back down. And her sisters are enablers. Like I don't even know if I would have came and got her. Like, why am I coming to get you? You sent him home. You're there with the other people. Ride home with one of them. Like, I'm not understanding why she couldn't ride home with another couple.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, if all else failed, production would have made sure she got home, even if she was in the van with like with the cameras and the boom microphones and shit.
That part. I'm not. Her sister. I'd have been like, I'm not coming in the middle of the night to Tim fucking Buck 2 to come pick you up.
Right. And to Crystal's point, I agree with that. But I think what happens, because I was watching it today and I was really watching how Dr. Pepper, because Dr. Pepper, I really believe, sees that they are not going to work and they're not they shouldn't stay together. But I'm pretty sure that the producers of the show have told the experts that they can't recommend them leaving. I think that they've always been advised to give them tools to figure things out and try to figure out on their own. But I don't think they would ever advise them to leave or to say, we should get divorced or whatever. But I don't think that I think she should have held Michaela accountable. I think she should have straight up let her know that, your behavior is toxic. It's also emotionally abusive. And then for her to get in that car, remember she did that car confession right before that session with Dr. Pepper and Zach. And she said, he didn't return my calls. And, after he abandoned me, it's like, girl, it's like you imagine things the way that you remember them. It's like you put this stuff out there as if it actually happened that way. That was what was frustrating for me.
Yeah, so I'm gonna read a post that Michaela's ex posted on Facebook. And it says, I dated Michaela before her dad passed away, and she acted the same way that she acts on TV. I had to say something after she tried to play victim to that expert. I'm enraged. Hearing her use abandonment as a crutch as much as she does was my last straw. I never heard of this show, but when my friend told me she was on it, I tune in every Wednesday. We dated about 7 to 8 years ago for several months. It was a horrible experience. She had me questioning reality all the time because she would switch her moods at the drop of a dime. Labeling her explosive is an understatement. Honestly, everything I see her doing on TV, I've experienced firsthand, and my heart goes out to Zach.
Are you ready? 115 made a really good point. I do think that some of them are too young. I don't think they've had enough life experiences. I do think some of them, not on this particular cast, I mean in previous seasons that I've watched, because I've been watching since it first came on. I do think that there have been some younger folk that are prepared and are ready. But I do think that a lot of them are just not mentally ready. I don't think they've had enough life experiences. I really don't.
Yeah, it needs to be like 35 and up.
I kind of want to say that too. I was just thinking that. I think it needs to be like 35 and up. But anyway, I think I'm going to wrap this conversation up. I think we've said all that needs to be said about Married at First Sight.
Yep.
But I am going to be working on. Oh, thank you, Tanny Joy, for coming on. I appreciate it.
No problem. Talk to you later.
All right. When I tell you that Tanny Joy, she will come on here for a little conversation about Married at First Sight. She may not come on for nothing else, but she gonna come on here to talk about this. I do think they should do one for like people that are 40 and over or 50 or whatever. Especially like people who are in the latter part of their life and they've been single for a while or whatever. I think they should probably do a version like that. But at any rate, I am gonna go ahead and I'm getting the flyer and the promotional material ready for the live Gay Like Me conversation that's gonna happen in Washington, D.C. Lonnie B assisted me with finding a venue there. He's supposed to be there as well. I want you guys to keep an eye out for it because as soon as I have all the promotion material, I've already done the application. I already sent a deposit for the venue. We're going to go ahead and start promoting it. So please mark the date on your calendar. It's December 3rd. It's a Friday, niece. And the conversation is going to be at 8 p.m. So you should be off work. And if you work second shift or third shift, call in now, niece. Put in for your time off. We're going to do a meet and greet. We're going to do a conversation. And it's going to be one that's going to, it's going to be an evergreen, what they call evergreen. So it's going to be a conversation that will work for women. I know everybody that watches are not LGBTQ. So we're going to have a conversation that's going to benefit the heterosexual community as well as the queers. The queers. But at any rate, so I want everybody to feel be able to participate in the conversation. So with that being said, please mark your calendar. She said I work on Saturday. But at any rate, we're gonna do a conversation, and then we're gonna do a meet and greet after that. So that we can take pictures and have a little one-on-one conversation too. And I was saying to Derek that I also want us to do a Q&A session. So even when we have our conversation, that'll be one part of it. But then we'll do a Q&A, and you guys can ask me and Derek questions, whatever it is you want to ask. It could be life questions, business questions, whatever. And then after that, we'll do a meet and greet. We'll take pictures and do all that kind of stuff. All right. So listen, you guys have an amazing Saturday. I did drop a Patreon before I got on the live today. My cleaning lady that be leaving her wig and stuff on the couch and stuff, she came over today. This is her first time coming to the house. So I did drop that Patreon over there for you guys to see it. If you're not on Patreon, then, you can join Patreon. But thank you for watching. Did you all send Cash App? Let me look in here. I want to say thank you. I don't want y'all to think I'm being ungrateful. Oh, it's just one. Thank you to Teresa Ransom. Thank you, niece. Hey, girl, hey. But listen, if you need to join the Patreon, go ahead and do so. Bye.
Good day,
Wait.
Good day, thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. I'm Craig the Writer Stewart, and I'm inviting you to join my Patreon.
Did I do it?
Don't know what a Patreon is? It's my official video diary with only exclusive content that you won't see
I was trying to drop the commercial.
It's easy to join.
But
Just
it didn't
visit.
do it.
Welcome to Gay.
At any rate,
Good day,
I'll see you
thinkers,
guys
thought
soon.
leaders,
Bye.
progressives, and dreamers. I'm Craig the Writer